I trust you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Simulcast episode number 20. I am your host, D. Hodge, and with me, like always, is my good friend, Big Shrimp. Big Shrimp, man, what's going
on? Yo, what's going on, bud? Can't believe we're already doing Simulcast 20, and we're a day late and $1 short, or more like a week late.
Yeah.
God almighty, man, what a couple of weeks it's been.
Oh, man. I can see you're looking through the notes.
All right, obviously somebody doesn't know how to.
It is so late. It is so late. It is so late. So when you're listening to this is not going to go up the normal Wednesday morning. It's going to go up Wednesday around lunchtime, Wednesday afternoon, somewhere along there. That way I can get everything going good and up on YouTube and all that.
We're recording like at midnight.
Yeah,
and I've been up since 8 a.m.
I have been up. I'll get you beat. I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning. So I got you beat.
So excuse the ugliness before you.
Oh, man.
Normally I'm not doing much better, but today I'm doing a little rough in the looks department. So excuse it if you could.
That's what I'm saying. I'm drinking a Diet Coke at freaking. Well, it's actually almost 11 here. It's almost midnight over there where you're at. But trying to keep the. I was gonna drink coffee, but I was like, if I drink coffee, am I gonna stay up all night? So I might as well just have my regular.
It's weird.
Caffeine.
Caffeine doesn't really affect me that way. I know our friend, a friend of the show, both shows, and of the network, Brittany Bexton.
Yeah.
It's highly, highly sensitive to caffeine. Like she can't have a cup without going off the walls and being jittery. And that's not a knock towards her. She'll tell you herself. But obviously, everybody's affected differently by different things. But for me, man, caffeine, I don't know if it's because for most of my life, I've binged Coca-Cola and Mountain Dew and drinking it all hours of the morning, day and night. So it just messed me up or what. But yeah, I don't have that issue. So.
Well, I don't know. I was reading this book and it was talking about how people that say they're sensitive to caffeine, and I'm not saying Brittany's not, I'm not saying anybody that's not, but a lot of it, like when you have a cup of coffee and you're like, I can't start my morning before a cup of coffee. That's all in that's mental. It's mentality. It's like, you have yourself. Yeah. And so that's what I wonder about, like Coca-Cola or any kind of caffeinated drink or beverage is obviously it's bad for you, but does it really make people hyper? Do people really that sensitive to it? Or is it kind of mental where, oh my God, I've had sugar. And I forgot sugar makes me go crazy.
No, I think it depends on who you're talking to. I've seen people. I've had relatives that are normally very calm and chill, but they drink coffee or an energy drink, like their hands start to shake. They speak with a blurred speech. It has to be done on the effects of the heart and the heart rate. Obviously, I do think there's something to say about people that have a chemical dependency and feel like they can't get anything accomplished without the caffeine. Obviously, a lot of that's in their head, and either way, it's not healthy to have a dependency upon anything to be able to function. So I don't know. I think it's somewhere in the middle. Some folks, it is all in their head, and some folks they really are affected by it.
Yeah. So
Obviously, you and I aren't doctors, so
yeah.
quick disclaimer: anybody don't heed our medical advice. We don't know what we're talking about.
So for the past couple of weeks, we have been off the off the simulcast chops for a little while. We couldn't find the time really to do it, and so we're trying to find new scheduling systems and new times to do this. Um, be that may, whatever we're gonna do to get these done, we're gonna need to get these done because these are some of the highest um, stream podcasts are just these simulcasts, which is very shocking because when we first started this, it was like, hey, we're just going to get on here and chat, and now it's kind of we want this to be the talk show of the podcast realm. So like it's instead of our usual, we have people come on and we chat with on my show or your show. Um, this is kind of just a little bit different, and we talk about what we really want to talk about. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
we're hoping this leads into what I want to do um, in the long term, season 3, maybe season 4, but we'll get there
yeah,
to where it's more of a morning show type feel. What we got instead of an actual podcast, it'll still be on podcast format. Uh, our, our podcast platforms, but instead of being a straight up interview and conversation with people, everything will be done through video. We'll have games, trivia, and just shoot the bull about life, current events, and really try to get a perspective of all the parties involved that normally you can't get in a normal interview. So that's what we're hoping to do. It'll be more relatable, and we're working our way towards that. Um, that's going to be on my end, on the Big Shrimp Radio end. Hodge, I don't know what he wants to do. I don't know if he wants to continue doing his way he does things, but he will obviously be a part of what I'm doing as my co-host. Um, so yeah, so
well,
we're figuring everything out.
we are yeah, it's still a learning process, and it's a learning process for me after 4 years, and it's still learning, and I think you're still going to be learning another 4 years. But look, let's get the business out of the way. They're here to hear us talk about how our 2 weeks have been, and I've had a crazy couple of weeks filming the 400th episode the first part of it, doing all these other different things. But you have been in Nashville for a recent trip and going back and forth to the doctors.
Yeah. By the way, we totally didn't address the new simulcast theme. Uh,
Oh yeah.
Hello, somebody.
Well, hey, I actually
Yeah, if y'all liked it, we hope you liked it. It's a new song. I liked it. We had
I
a
got to
couple
get
of options, and
yeah, I've got to give real quick. Got to give credit to Shane Ivers for Hard Sell Hotel for the simulcast theme song. In every simulcast that we use this theme song, it's going to be the link is going to be down there below. So go show that guy Shane some love.
yeah, so yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. We had a choice of 2 different songs, and
We may switch it
I
up
like
every
this one
now
a
and
little
then.
bit more. Yeah, we may do that. I like this one a little bit more. But yeah, anyway, it's a couple of weeks down. It's been crazy. You've had a lot going on with you, with
Mm-hmm.
me. I've had a lot going on as well. Been back and forth, uh, traveling between Johnson City, Tennessee, and Nashville, Tennessee. 5 hour drive one way, and it's been a lot of fun. I love Nashville. Anybody that knows me knows it's home. It's where my heart is, and eventually I hope to move back. Don't know when that'll be, uh, but at some point in the near future, hopefully, God willing. And yeah, when I was there, so I've had a couple of health issues. One, it's been weird. My eyes will start rolling sometimes and
Mm.
crossing, not inward but outward, and it's really apparent when I'm on FaceTime or whatever, and usually I see it. Then whoever I'm talking to brings it to my attention whose your eyes are moving. So I went to an eye surgeon and whatever, and the dude, they have this thing now. I've not been to the eye doctor in forever, so I'm sure they've had it for a while. But instead of you looking at a thing, you see a little tractor trailer in the background, or and instead of looking in a hole and they blow a puff of air in your eye, they've got this thing to where they shoot an infrared laser. It's what it looks like into
Yeah.
the back of your eye, and it like, takes a picture of your whole eyeball. And so they did that. Did the regular exams, put your thing in your eye, you see letters, and then one or two, three or four, or five or six, better or worse, on the flipping thing. So I've got an eyeglass prescription I'll be picking up in the near future. So I'll be on the lookout for that. Seeing yours truly with a new pair of specs for eyes. Uh, and then I had some x-rays done on my knees, on my legs and feet. Um, Long story short, I've had some leg issues for a few years. Initially, I gave my left leg to the business of professional wrestling, the business I aspired to be in since I was a child. One of my you're going to think I'm an idiot, but one of the most proud things I can say is I gave a part of me to that business. Um, I'm at peace. If I would have lost my, if I would have lost function with my legs and have all kinds of pain due to a car accident or whatever, I wouldn't have peace about it. But I have peace about it because I gave it in the ring, and ended up in the hospital with that. That staph infection ruined the previous surgery because I was healing from that previous surgery. Had to have the staph washed out. Fast forward a couple of years, for having other issues. I had CIDP, neurological disease that affects the nerves and nerve endings in my legs. So my left leg is sustained all kinds of damage as well as my right. And lately, when I stand and walk, actually for the last year or so, it would feel like literally bone on bone in my left leg. Like there was no cushion, no give, no mobility. Um, it's pretty painful. And so finally went to an orthopedic surgeon, and sure enough, my suspicions were confirmed. I have zero cartilage in my left leg. The right leg have half as much as I should. Both of my feet are completely messed up and jammed up, and I have like bones that are infused in together. So I've got surgery options, and um, basically going and doing both my feet will take uh, a few months to heal each. I do them one at a time, then do my knee. They did say that the thing with the knee replacement is that because I'm still young, I may want to consider getting uh, what are those shots called? That'll come to you in a minute. Cortisone shots, yeah. Um, and just trying to get by because the problem with knee replacement every 10 to 15 to 20 years at this point with the current technology they've got out, I'd have to repeat the surgery. And that could be a pain, it could be taxing, exhausting, and the whole 9 yards. So,
Yeah.
um, but on the other hand, if I do the shots, it's like putting a band aid over the problem. It's not really solving the cartilage issue. So I'm not really a fan of getting shots, anyways. I'm not scared of
Yeah.
them. I'm just not a fan of them. So I will be doing the COVID shots though, when those are available to me. But so I'm thinking to go ahead with that surgery, but it takes so much time to heal. I've got to go back and find out what they recommend about should I do the feet first or the knee. I don't care either way. I'm get it all done. Hopefully, at that point, I will be able to be more mobile and be able to get some of this lard off of my ass. God Almighty, I've gained so much weight because I'm not very active. So yeah, it's been a pretty good news I received from the doctor, and I look forward to progressing from there. But
Well,
you know who's
you
not always had good news, not all the time at least, or at least recently, our buddy Hodge here.
man, while
I
you
guess
were out,
it's bad news
yeah.
for us doggy. But
Well, while you were out dealing with Nashville and doctor appointments, I was here, and it is the first time here that I can remember in a few years. I think it's gotten this cold like 4 or 5 years ago, but it's gotten to the point now where it was. I think it got down to like 9 degrees today when we're recording this, um, and
not a fan.
it started snowing, and not enough to stick. It was just flurries, kind of look like sprinkles of rain. But you guys know I've had, and you too, Big Shrimp. We talk all the time about it. We have terrible neighbors here, right to the left of us. Terrible neighbors, and
So go ahead and tell what street
oh
it is too,
man,
Hodge.
I don't care. I hate those. Man, I hate these people with a passion. And let me tell you, this story I'm about to tell you right now, I don't care. Whatever happens to them, happens to them. Well, so got a fence up, right? And they're like, well, we're going to build a fence too. So they put a fence up. And what they did
Same
was,
people that you went to jail over the last
that's right.
time we were.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Same people I broke my wrist because their dog attacked my dog on my property.
Mm.
And yeah, so what they did was they put a fence up, right? And they put a fence going from their part of the property all the way to the top of the hill of their property. These people have little bitty dogs, right? Well, they got one that's a Doberman Pinscher. I'm scared to death of that goddamn dog, okay? And they have this giant gate, and the gate is for cattle, okay? So you're thinking of the bars. In between each bar is probably a good 8-inch gap. So a Chihuahua, a Shih Tzu, all those type of little dogs can get out easily of that 8-inch gap of a gate, right? So
Right.
yes, yesterday I think it was, or the day before, the time we're recording, I go outside and they have this little white with a black spotted dog, and it's a mutt. It's mixed with different type of things, right? And so I go outside and I'm like, man, they let the dog out here. His name is Bear. And I was like, man, they left Bear. What do we do? And so I said, well,
Wow, it's freezing cold out.
it was free. Like this was 30 degrees. And so I figured, I brought a blanket out there, and I figured they would at least call a whatever, because they brought him in, and they every now and then. So I said, I'll just put a blanket out there, and they'll come get him here soon, or they'll call him. Well, it gets almost dark, and the dog is still laying there, and I go, hey, Bear. And the dog at this point is about frozen to death. I'm thinking, I'm like, holy crap. And so I go and I'm like, look, I'm bringing this dog inside. So what I did was, to protect myself, was I recorded the video of me. I mean, I'm just so what I was told to do was every time you do something with involves the neighbors, you need to have recorded from the time you walk out of your house to the time whatever. And so I record myself going out of the house and like, look, this dog has been out here for this long, and the neighbors aren't doing it. So I'm bringing the dog inside. So I brought the dog inside. We put it in the bathroom. Put a space heater in there in the bathroom, and gave him some food and water. Let him warm up on our dogs because they don't really, they just annoy each other. You know how dogs are. They annoy each other. And so we put him in the bathroom with a space heater, food and water, and a couple of old blankets and jackets. And we're like, we'll let him warm up. And so around that time, we called the sheriff's department and we were like, hey, look, told them the situation, the neighbor's dogs, whatever. Would we get in trouble if that dog happened to pass away in our house due to the effects? And of course, we were told no, that would be a very hard case to prove that we did anything to the dog when we had proof the dog was outside in the 30-degree weather. So that was really the end of it. And so yesterday, the dog's finally warmed up and he's, playing along with our dogs. And then the neighbor shows up. I'm not allowed to speak to him. My brother's not allowed to speak to him. They're not allowed to speak to us. So my dad has a conversation with the guy, and I don't know what's going on because I'm not allowed some odd feet between each other. So I just go inside the house and he comes in. And here is what the neighbor said. So the conversation went, hey, we got your dog in the house. And they was like, well, I'm sorry, he's a nuisance. He must have gotten out, from the back gate. And I'm sitting there thinking, this dumb idiot thinks the dog dug a hole underneath the fence instead of getting out of the 8-inch gap of a gate they have. Right? And plus, their fence isn't even finished yet. They've got T-posts drove in, but there's still like at least 45 feet of open space. A dog's not stupid. Dogs are smart. They're going to go around it. Anyways, that's not the point. So we're like, hey, the dog's here. And they're like, sorry, he's being a nuisance, yada, yada. He's like, he's not being a nuisance. The dog almost died last night. And they're like, well, we have him in the bathroom. And he's in the space. He's got food and water. He's here. If you want him, we can bring him to you. And you can put him inside with the eater.
They don't deserve him.
Let me tell you for a second. This dude said, no, it's okay. We don't really like that dog to be inside anyways. You guys can keep him over there. Dude, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Dude, I was pissed. I am still mad. Because they're abusing that animal. That was abuse of an animal. It's the same as if you tell your kid you're not allowed to come in. Oh my, yes, man. Without food, without water. I mean, sure, our dogs do it all the time. We got our backyard fenced in. And so we just let them out of the back. And then they have food in the house, but I mean, there's puddles that the dogs can drink water and be dogs, But puddles were frozen with ice. They couldn't get anything to eat, couldn't get anything to drink. And so today, dogs were inside. The dogs are getting along like they know, which they've always known each other. They always play together. But I said, you know what? If this dog's going to stay inside, the dog stunk. And so I gave it a bath along with our other dogs. And so now he is no longer in the bathroom. He is staying in the living room with the other 3 dogs that we've got. And I don't know you asked me the other day, what are you going to do? I don't know. But he's not going out. Besides going to the bathroom and playing for 10, 15 minutes and coming back inside, he's not going to go outside and stay. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. And so we're stuck between, we're going to have another dog, which, I mean, we can financially support it, but it's still kind of like, and everybody was like, you got to get rid of the dog. It's not the dog's fault. Okay. I would much rather me go without food than this poor dog go without food, because I can, deal with missing a couple of meals here and there, but it's a sad situation.
Yeah.
And we were advised by the sheriff's department to call animal control and get for animal abuse. But why start something? I mean, obviously we'd be doing the right thing, but why start something when we've kind of solved it already, which I would love to see them.
Man, it's something's already started. It's a
I know.
tough call. I
know.
would just keep the dog until they decide they want the dog back, and then so you're not getting the dog back.
Oh yeah.
Make sure everything is documented.
Yeah.
And that's such a horrible situation.
Yeah, it's
horrible.
Yeah, they're definitely not getting the dog back. He may, because his dog right now, our dog, since we fenced in our backyard since that last incident, their dogs kind of roam free, and they all have. We've been here for 20 something years, and this is the only neighbor we've ever had trouble with. And their Doberman, their Doberman got off the leash and went to the neighbors across the road from us and chased her around their house.
Was she hot?
No, dude, she's like,
that's horrible.
50 or 60. Yeah. I've known her my whole life, man. I've known her my whole life. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I mean, I don't know. Right now, we're taking care of the dog right now. So I don't know. I just can't take the dog.
Excuse me, folks. I'm sorry, folks, for the yawning and the
I'm boring
rude comment I just made. I'm delirious. I'm exhausted.
But other than getting away from the stupid,
thank God the dog had somebody like you that was compassionate enough and had the sense enough to make a difference. And I don't know, dude. I would stay for the dog's psyche and well-being. It probably wasn't treated right over there. At least you can treat it right. If you just rehome it, it can mess with the dog's mind of not being able to know where is home and not know who to trust. So who knows? You can give it to somebody and they could treat it like shit too. If you can afford it, I would say just go ahead and sacrifice. And by the way, what a burn to the neighbors that every time they see you to know that you got their dog and it's healthy and happy with you, that you're able to be more of a person, more of a pet owner than they were. So.
Well, the difference is I love and care for my pets, and they just don't care. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this to turn into drama, but
they'll see that, and they may not admit it, but it'll bother them in the back of their minds to a point. Probably not completely. They sound like they're pieces of shit. I don't know them, never met them, but from everything you've told me about them, what it sounds like. So I don't know.
There's always two sides to the story. Difference is my side's right. So
says everybody.
I know.
So anyways, folks, we have been doing these videos.
Man, you're just taking over my show, huh?
Well, dude, I'm delirious, dude. I don't even know where I'm at right now. You see my eyes? Go ahead and
we are okay. You have been noticing.
Number 5 or number 6?
Man, just listen. Follow along with me. I know where I'm at. Man, we have been. If you guys have been noticing on both of our channels, we've had different episodes go up, and there are the controversy episodes, which we've had real fun making them, and we're actually making more into the future here. We're going to start recording here in a little bit, doing some more. And
Not
news
tonight,
here.
by God.
No, God, no, not tonight.
Unless you record a controversy of me snoring.
I don't know if I could do. I don't know if I could do tonight. Oh my goodness! But some changes here are. They're still going to go up on my podcast feed on Everywhere Podcast and YouTube. Big Shrimps are going to be strictly YouTube. I think so. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think they want to do. That way, on my regular episodes, my podcast episodes, I can point people to listen to the controversies or watch the controversies on YouTube. But my YouTube is being built up slowly but surely. Thanks a big bunch of things goes to Hodge for taking the time to convert all my audio from the past to video. It's taken a while, but it'll all get up there eventually. And
we're going slowly.
In addition to those, we got other videos. Yeah. On the Big Shrimp Radio podcast, on the Big Shrimp Radio YouTube page, you'll find a lot of videos from different bars I've been to, and different people doing cover songs, and a couple of videos of when I was in physical therapy. Lord have mercy. I got the hiccups. This episode's gone to hell. Anyways, videos of me getting some therapy done, physical therapy, some videos of me inking up my fountain pen to Bonita Magma Dragon that I got from Pentio in the Czech Republic. Check them out. Shout out. Other review videos, I think I've done just different stuff from the past, and then obviously videos with Hodge. Hodge and I've done a lot of videos together, and all my old episodes from season 1, and then also going to be season 2. The podcast episodes be converted from audio to video, put up on YouTube, in addition to our controversies.
Yeah, and so before we move into the meat of the pie here, what we're actually going to do, I was going to do this on next week's podcast, but I don't think this is going to be quite as long to be considered a real good simulcast. I watched one of Big Shrimp's favorite movies. I was going to wait and watch it later, but I went ahead and watched it tonight because it was only like an hour and 20 minutes. So
I feel like shit. There's no
here
way.
We go. Here we go. Here we go. I watched Dead Men on Campus.
There's no way I can.
I have not. I haven't.
With you.
Hang on a second. I haven't finished it. I'm going to give you my first thoughts. Okay? My first thoughts. So, from the start of the movie, for the first 10 minutes, I could tell what kind of movie this is going to be.
Well, first of all, what's the name of this movie?
Movie is... Man, give me a second. Dead Man on Campus is the name of the movie. Give me 2 seconds. I had a plan of how I was going to go into this.
Oh, Jesus. All right.
Anyways.
I'll sit back.
Sit back. Now, what was cool to me was Jason Segel is the bully in the movie. And it's kind of cool to see a young Jason Segel because you've seen him from like Marshall on How I Met Your Mother. And that was kind of cool. One of the funniest lines so far in the movie and what? I'm not going to give the movie away.
Zach Morris.
Oh, yeah. It's got Mark Paul
Gosselaar.
Yeah, Zach from Saved by the Bell. And immediately I wrote down Saved by the Bell, the college years, the unrated edition. Because and so but one of the funniest scenes so far has been when the main guy was sleeping his first night in the dorm. He wakes up and his janitors and they're smoking pot, and the Mexican janitor goes, "Hola." He goes, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he's
man,
actually clean, really good to his shoes. They're trying to study, do well, and
yeah,
he's kind of polar opposite for a roommate.
yeah. And there were some side conversations that I caught in the movie, which I thought were funny, like when the main guy's trying to study, and Mark Paul wants to screw off and drink and party like college. He goes to a room, and then the main guy comes in and he goes, "How are you doing? I got a rash on my balls. How are you?" I mean, I find those little slight things funny. And then what surprised me
Yeah.
was Mark Mark Paul's dad is Uncle Jesse's dad in Full House. Did you notice that?
Yeah, he is. I did. Yeah. Well, I noticed it at the time, and I forgot about it till just now. But yeah, did you
He
notice
was,
that he? Did you get to the scene yet with the steth, stethos?
yeah,
Damn
I
it, I
didn't
can't say it.
find yeah,
Stethoscope.
yeah, we were talking about earlier and you were killing yourself over it. I didn't find it that funny. I actually didn't even really laugh because
Oh,
it wasn't funny to me because he was just trying to ignore him or annoy him,
yeah,
and he
yeah. It's trying to
stuck
annoy the guy.
stuff the stethoscope down his
It's
pants and
hilarious,
said,
dude. I
yeah.
I I almost pissed myself laughing every time I even think about it. The dude
Alice,
got
yeah.
the other dude's stethoscope. He puts it on the outside of his pants. And I can hear my heartbeat through my
No, he
penis.
doesn't. He sticks it through his pants. He undoes his zipper and sticks it
See, that's
through his
even
zipper.
worse. So he sticks it through his pants.
Yeah.
And the other guy says, "Well, then get it out of your pants."
Allison Hannigan from American
Uh,
Pie and How I Met Your Mother's in there. And
eh,
here,
God,
here,
I would love to have a 2 hour conversation about band camp with her.
my last thought on what I've seen so far, and I've seen up to where the main plot of the movie has to happen. They're both failing, right? And the whole point of the story now. That's where I'm up to. And my thing is, can't you just study and make good grades on this instead of having to have somebody kill themselves? Like, can't that
Oh,
happen? Like, I mean,
well, that's already gone out the window, dude. I mean, they both have screwed up to the point that is at the point of no return. Um, One of them had too many hours he signed up for to begin with, and then has a roommate that made it impossible for him to do well. The other one is uh, on a journey to see how far down uh, the toilet he can go,
yeah.
literally because his dad is a plumber and he doesn't want to be a plumber. So I don't know, man. And they're not asking somebody to kill themselves. They're looking for somebody that's already crazy enough that's going to do it. And they just want to see if they can get that person to do it in their room.
Well,
Uh,
look,
Maybe
I
help
would
push that person over the edge.
I would give my full review next week on the. Well, I'm not gonna say next week because we may not do one next week. We don't know yet. But next time on the Simulcast, I'll get my full review of Dead Men on Campus. And also, I'm gonna give
Well,
you when I review that, gonna give you a movie to watch. You're gonna review it as well. So, um,
oh, well, but tell
let's
me,
in
do you
let's in
like it
the
so far or not?
um. I don't think it's
How
as
about that?
funny.
Shouldn't even be a question.
I don't think it's as funny as you anticipate it, but I do like it. I do like it. I don't think it's as funny as you were anticipating, but I
Made
do
it out
like
to
it.
be.
I do like it.
So
I
I
do
think
like
it's
it.
hilarious.
Uh,
Now, in all fairness, you think things are funny that I don't get, like
yeah,
that fat shirtless guy. I just
Bert
don't
Kreischer.
understand him at all. But you think he's hilarious. So,
Yeah.
but we do equally agree that Joe Rogan's hilarious.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Our sense of
Look,
humors are different, but they're similar too.
I'm tired of cutting this pie open. Let's go ahead and put it on a plate. This is the main ingredient here for the podcast, and it is our very first concert we ever attended. our very first major wrestling event attended. And major wrestling event is because I know probably Big Shrimp has been to like different house shows when he was younger. I'm talking mainstream major wrestling event. So let's start first,
Uh,
and I will go first with the concert, and we'll go vice versa. My first concert I ever attended was the Crawfish Festival in Biloxi, Mississippi. I don't remember how old I was. I think this had to have been '05, '06, something like that. And it was Blake Shelton. And he was on the verge of putting out the Pure BS album. And the reason I know that is because, every person makes the band take a break and they go acoustic, right? Every concert. And
yeah.
he went acoustic and he started playing his yet to be released song, which was The More I Drink, which was the lead single off of Pure BS. So that's how I know we were in between those those two albums, which I think were uh, Blake Shelton's Barn and Grill, and I think it stopped there for a little while, and then he released Pure BS, if I'm not mistaken. But that's where we were at, and I remember the first song you opened up with, the second song, the third song, the last song. I remember a lot about that, and that's why Blake Shelton is one of my favorites because he was my favorite when I was a kid, and same way now.
Wow. Um, First ever concert I attended. I do know I went to a lot of gospel, Southern gospel concerts when I was a kid with my grandmother. Um, I listened to quartets and stuff. I don't think that count. I mean, it could count. I mean, some of
Whatever
these
you want to
folks would
count.
make big deals in gospel music, but it wasn't anything that uh, I was ever really into, even though I wasn't to church. But no, I think my first real concert, somewhere around 95, 96, 97. I don't remember the year. Um, Over here, close to where I live, in 1/3 of the Tri Cities, Kingsport, Tennessee, every year they have a thing called Fun Fest, and it's where they have all kinds of stuff, activities and whatnot. But at nighttime, they have major pop acts come in from Pop 40 Radio and do legit concerts. And you sit out on the grounds, and they have bleachers too. It's not a big arena show, but anyways, my first one had All Saints. Um, oh, it didn't have All Saints Ally. I'm a big fan of All Saints. Never Ever song. Are you familiar with that song, Hodge?
I
Never
think
Ever
so.
by All Saints.
I think so.
So good. Anyway, so it had a band with the one hit wonder band called She Moves. They had a song called it'll come back to me in a minute. And it had a girl named Jennifer Page. She had a song called Crush. That was the one hit wonder. She was one hit wonder as well. They had another one hit wonder act. I forget who they were at the moment. But the headliners were in sync. And God, man, dude, uh, I forgot which one of the five it was, but dude was shirtless, swinging off of this rope ladder, and all the girls were going nuts, rubbing their nipples. Ah!
I'm sure.
And and man, it's all kinds of songs. But at the time, I was really getting into that kind of music, anyways. Um, I went back a few years in a row and saw other pop acts, but I've not been to many legitimate concerts. I've been to a lot of Lau and Thai concerts too, but um, I'm not really. I just okay. Maybe I'm selfish. Maybe I'm an asshole. Maybe I'm delusional. But it just irritates me to know that I could be in a room with a freaking John Legend. I'm not even really a John Legend fan, but and he'd be like 200 feet in front of me, and I can breathe the same air he's breathing and listen to him sing. Then afterwards, he's going to run off stage and go backstage. And unless I have backstage passes or whatever, I'm not going to get to see the guy or meet him. And so I just feel like it's a tease in a way. For the same philosophy I have for not going to strip clubs anymore, which I used to do when I was younger. But I got to the point I realized I'm paying all this money for a tease. At the end of the night, I'm not going to get one of these strippers. So I got to go home and take care of business myself. Or if
Yeah.
you live in Atlanta on the Fulton Industrial Boulevard, I got like 3 strip clubs and a whole bunch of hookers walking outside of the strip clubs. You can take care of yourself there. But I don't know. So I'm like, I don't want to go to a concert. But now in recent years in Nashville, I've seen a lot of shows, independent artists, and I've seen Chris Stapleton uh, and others, but not really a concert guy. I'm sure that'll change in the future,
Thanks for that
but then again,
long-winded
dude,
question.
most of my life, this is bore out between you and I conversations in private. I've not really been a music guy, and so for most of my life, I've not had an interest in going to concerts. I had a lot of opportunity, a lot, because over here at Freedom Hall Civic Center, a lot of people have come through. The Eagles have come through, ACDC, even Elvis came through back in the 70s. But, I've always had opportunity to go. My mom and stepdad used to go to shows that offered to take me. I'd rather stay home and watch TV.
Yeah.
Now I regret those opportunities since how cool would it be to get to see like Leonard Skinner live. But um, yeah,
Thanks
go
for that
ahead.
long-winded answer.
If you like that one, you're gonna love the wrestling
Oh,
answer I got.
I can bet. I can bet. So before we do that, again, go check out the controversy episodes of the podcast, YouTube, anywhere podcasts are available. The teases, the teases for those. We're gonna start putting those up on Instagram. Um,
Yeah,
I put a teaser up on Facebook for the Morgan Wallen one, but I think we're gonna
yeah,
start putting them up on our
yeah. Hodge
socials.
can figure that stuff out, and
Yep, yep.
and yeah, he's
So,
got a YouTube channel, the Hodgepodge
yep.
Podcast YouTube, and mine is Space Shrimp Radio. So
Dude, this is the late night tired as crap simulcast podcast. It's we're barely making it here. But look, let's go to the
yeah.
dessert. Let's go to the final, or as I should say, the main event here, which is
Are
the
you hungry,
first
man? You're talking about food all
major
freaking night, bro.
wrestling
You're talking
event.
about pie. You're talking about ingredients. You're
Well,
talking about
look,
dessert. Are you hungry?
I am a little bit, honestly. It's late at night. What are you supposed to do? Late at night, there's nothing on TV.
Dude, let me tell you something. I don't normally buy frozen food. A couple of days ago, I was craving some like the breaded fish in the frozen section. Wasn't really craving it, but I thought I'd get some to make it home. And
Uh-huh.
so there's 2 primary brands. There's Miss Gordon's and Miss Mr. Patty's or Miss Paul, Mr. Paul, whatever. One's in a gold bag, the other's in a green box. Didn't know which to get. The price difference was about $1.50. They both look decent on the outside of their box, so I got one of each. Had them both, and they're both pretty freaking good. The Mr. Paul's, the one in the green, it's a little bit tastier, I think, but the other one, Gordon's, is a little bit thicker fish. So, anyways, go ahead, Hodge. Sorry, just had to throw that in there. Talking about food,
Again, we're not
wrestling.
sponsored by these fish companies, these frozen fish companies. But if they would like to
No, but we can
sponsor
be
us,
by God. I'll take all the fish you want to give me. I love fish.
I can tell. Okay, here we go.
Hey, man, I'm named after a sea creature, shrimp.
The main event of the evening of the simulcast is the first major wrestling event ever attended. I went first last time, Big Shrimp. You go first now. I already know what yours is, so I'm going to go pee real quick while you tell yours.
I don't think you know this one, dude, because I don't even know the answer.
You don't know the answer? Well, I guess I'll stay. I have to pee later.
I really don't know the answer, dude.
This was your
I should have
segment
asked my
idea.
mom or my aunt. Do what?
This was your segment idea. You don't have an answer for it?
Yeah, listen, man. I've been to so many wrestling shows. I know you say major, so I'm guessing when you say major, you're talking the big three: WWF, WCW, and
Yeah.
ECW, because those were the ones around that were the big companies when I was young. Uh, First and foremost, I went to a ton of indie shows, independent shows. I don't remember if I went to an independent show first or with my aunt. She took me to my first independent show, or if I went to a Smoky Mountain wrestling show with my mom, stepdad, when she was pregnant with my brother in 1995. But um, that show had the Undertaker at it. Dude, Smoky Mountain Wrestling, I consider that a big one, major one. It was major around here. And one reason, Hodge, I meant to tell you I love Jim Cornette so much is because he was on my TV screen like 5 days of the week when I was growing up. Because he was a big deal over here in East Tennessee. And he talks about it all the time on his podcast. Johnson City this, Johnson City that. You hear it all the time. So, um, even though he was a heel, I went to WCW shows, several WCW shows at Freedom Hall. I got to see Monday Nitro, and I also went to a Thunder taping. So those were major TV shows. I went to house shows um, in the mid '90s. Went to a few WWE shows, house shows. But my first actual WWE TV show was Raw in Nashville. Um, The Rock was there, CM Punk was there, John Cena was there. People went nuts over Cena, The Rock, and Punk. Paul Heyman was there. It's just the night that Dutch Mantel debuted as Zeb Coulter. And that's a fun show. The Rock told a story about Tootsie's on Broadway and buying a car from a crackhead. Um, uh, CM Punk gave the GTS to The Rock. But I'm going to tell you, for my observance, um, the WWE has a lot of stimulated atmosphere effects. Kane's pyro, the loud rock and roll music, the lighting, uh, and obviously children screaming over John Cena. But when I was a kid, I got to go to these Smoky Mountain shows and early independent shows. You would literally be in a building and you'd feel the building shake with the roar of the people. I remember watching police get involved. I remember people trying to jump out of the fence, jump and hit a wrestler. And I remember cops throwing people on the ground, arresting them. Um, I remember old ladies with canes, sticking their canes out, trying to trip a wrestler when he's walking out to the ring, or trying to smack a wrestler in the head. I remember my aunt and my mom when they take me to these shows. They'd have security that open their purse, security their hands in the purse, and dig around looking for knives and guns. I mean, people at one time, even though they knew wrestling was a work somehow, they knew everything wasn't real and legit. They allowed themselves to believe it just enough that they would do things. Um, they would act in such a way that they normally wouldn't act. They would lose control, and and when you feel that hatred, I'm not talking that hatred in the room. When somebody like a Jim Cornette would come out and the heavenly bodies for Smoky Mountain, and then you feel the love and the cheer and the adoration when the Rock and Roll Express would come out. I mean, the feelings were so strong in the atmosphere that the whole building could feel it. People believe in this shit. And Corny says you can't put your toothpaste back in the tube. Well, I wish you could. And you and I had a discussion a while back. We had a time machine. You go back to see when the blues were starting in the '60s. I'd go back to some of these riot shows when folks rioted and wrestling was real. Yeah.
We have something in common because my first major show was a Monday Night Raw show, and I don't, man, I wish I could remember when this was. I got me, my brother, and my sister. We got tickets for Christmas one year, and that show was taking. Okay, I was fifth grade. I remember fifth grade. So however we're drawing in fifth grade, right? So we get there, and you don't realize the because this was still when people cared and believed in wrestling. This was still in the heat of the moment where Monday Night Raw was still good. And they filmed ECW, which aired Tuesday or Wednesday nights. They filmed that on Monday Night Raw. So that went on at like 6 and
Yeah,
Raw.
they filmed Superstars when I was there.
Okay.
They filmed, but you were talking in the Ruthless Aggression era.
Yes. Something like that, I think. And I remember watching and being like, wait, I don't hear Jerry the King Lawler's voice. What is going on? And I didn't realize
Oh
that
yeah.
I kind of thought it was going to be like football, like how you can hear the commentators at a live football event, but it's actually
Right.
which I think is more of an impactful moment if you're there watching as a fan because you don't have to hear the
I agree.
stupidness of some of the commentators. But I remember the first because I've always been a fan of Chris Jericho, and I remember he was the bad guy, so you were not allowed to like the bad guy, and how hard I wanted to cheer for Jericho, but I couldn't, right? And so I remember Jericho and Orton were sitting in the ring, and they were complaining about something such and such, and this is this was right after. Remember when Mr. McMahon got crushed by that machine when he was giving away all that money?
Oh yeah.
I think this was
And
right
doing
after
$1 million giveaway.
I
And
think
the
this was
stage fell
right after
apart.
I think this was right after that because he wasn't there. Stephanie had control over Raw. And she'd come out and she was like, okay, yada, yada, you're gonna fight Shawn Michaels and John Cena. And the place went
And wait a minute.
crazy.
You know that money giveaway was real. It wasn't
I do. Yeah, I know
a
that. Yeah.
work. There's a guy up the road where Jared lives.
Uh-huh.
One of our shrimpers, Jared. Uh, he lives in the town he lives in. A guy got $30,000 a check mailed to him from WWE.
That's cool.
Yeah,
But
changed his
yeah.
life because out there, dude, it's just freaking sticks. It's talking about country. It's like where you live, country.
Yeah.
So
But yeah,
yeah, 30 grand. Yeah.
my parents later admitted that they took me and my brother there because they thought it would get us out of wrestling, but it kind of made us love it and want it even more, you know? But then CM Punk was one of the reasons why you kind of figure out wrestling's fake. Like, you don't know it's fake when you're a kid, or I shouldn't say fake, predetermined when you're a kid, right? But I
Yeah,
remember,
well, man, everybody kept telling me, man.
well,
Everybody said,
see,
"Hey, you watch that shit. That ain't real." I say,
I would
"It
hear
is
that.
too real."
Right. I would hear that too, but then you would defend it, right? You would defend it,
Yeah, yeah.
because that was the thing. If you defended it, you believed in it. Now people don't defend it at all. People are just like, yeah, you're right, it's fake, but I still love it.
It's just an accepted fact that
Right, right.
it's
But
yeah.
I remember distinctly watching on TV one night. CM Punk was facing, man, it was some African American. I can't remember who it was. It could have been Kofi Kingston, but I remember because everybody is in on it. The cameramen know exactly where to stand. All of this is all timed out perfectly. The cameraman did not, or the TV person in the back did not switch to another camera, and we saw CM Punk slap this inner thigh when his knee came up to pop the guy in the mouth. And I remember seeing that and being like, wait, what did I just watch? And I remember skipping it back and seeing CM Punk hit the guy and slap his leg at the same time. And I remember right there, oh, wow, these people that have been telling me it's fake, they weren't lying to me. And that's when I saw it. And that's when you kind of dive in more and you learn a lot more of the business.
Yeah. Once upon a time, the knee slaps, and I don't want to give away all the secrets, but once upon a time, those things were hidden so well, and a cameraman knew uh, what angle was to shoot from to hide it
Right.
as well. That there was no way to know unless you really looked for it. Now, a lot of guys are sloppy workers, and you see you get these slaps all the time. And um, I remember one indie show I went to, and I was already smart to the business at this point. I knew I was probably about 10, maybe 11 or 12, but my aunt had dated Kid Cash, David Cash, David Jericho at the time, and
Mm.
they were dating, and he smarted me up to the business as a kid. He told me, he said, "Yeah," he would tell me, "I'm going to bleed tonight. Here's the razor blade I'm going to do it with. I'm going to blade red right here," and he smarted me up, and but I still wanted to believe. But I remember my aunt's husband. This is a few years later, after the fact. I was a teenager, about 13 or 14. He would always give me a hard time. His name was John. He said, "Oh, you know that stuff ain't real. They're all friends. They don't have five in the back." Well, whatever. We're at a show, and this guy, you hear him calling spots in the ring. Uh, it's his arm was off the ropes, give me a drop kick, and we heard it. And he turned and looked at me, and gave me a smart ass look. Did you hear that? And
Mm.
sure enough, they did a spot. He did a drop kick, but he missed him by like 3 feet. And the other dude took a bump, and he fell back. And my my aunt's husband looked at me again with this smart ass look. My aunt said, "It was the air. It was the force of his feet that knocked him down."
Uh,
But you know, yeah, no, I don't know. I miss wrestling being the way that it
Me too.
was, but
Me too.
yeah, when you go to a big show, a big production like the Monday Night Raw, and you can see people coming out. Like I remember the show I went to, the Raw. I went to Paul Heyman open up the show, and you see all the lights go out, and you see Paul Heyman walk out to the ring and get a microphone and stand in the middle of the ring. And obviously,
Mm.
he doesn't own the company, so if he wasn't planning for him to do that, um, somebody would have stopped and say, "Hey, you can't be doing this." And it's, the cameramen are always at the right place at the right time. That's one thing Corny and Brian West always talk about, like the AEW. Some reason or another, there's always a camera guy right now backstage when something goes down. Wonder why. Whereas in WCW back in the day, when there was a backstage brawl or whatever, they said, "Oh, there's something going on in the back." I mean, it would take like 2 or 3 minutes or about 30 seconds, and they'd send a cameraman to the back. There was already a fight in the process of happening. That was a little bit more believable, but whatever. Anyways, how it's your show? Anything else?
No, obviously we can talk forever about wrestling and knowledge that we have of wrestling, but we need to do that. We need to do that one simulcast. Just take our knowledge of what we know about wrestling and just talk about it. That's what we need to do.
That'd be a long show. You saw I've got books that talk about wrestling from the 1800s,
Yeah,
early 1900s.
yeah. I don't care about Abraham Lincoln wrestling. I don't give a crap. But look,
Oh God.
let's end it here, because if we don't end it here, we're not going to end it at all. We've been going over an hour, so go ahead and give out your whatever you say at the end of your shows, and we'll get out of here. Appreciate you guys.
I've got to write it out. I don't have it memorized. Something on like Church tomorrow should never get on a team. For some of us, we got less of them left than we do yesterday's. Life is a journey. There's a whole bunch of shit that I listed there that people go through on this journey. Whatever it is you're going through, lay it to the side and get to stepping. Live your life, live your truth unapologetically. Aspire and inspire before you expire. You've been listening to Big Shrimp Radio and a Hodgepodge podcast. Until next time, you got a friend in us, both of us. And I wish at this point say we're signing off, but we're not, because Hodge wants to tell everybody it's time to frown and be upset and pissed off and mad at the world and never smile again.
That's right. And I think you kind of had that memorized a little bit. That sounds about right. But enjoy, and as always, like I always say, frown less, smile more. Make tomorrow.
You really no-sold it. You really.
What?
Yeah.
What?
You really no-sold the frown all the time. That's sad.
Yeah, I don't care. All right, we're done. We're tired.
Whatever.
Enjoy. Frown less. Bye.